Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Marketing Your Practice podcast, the podcast where I get to simplify the marketing and the mindset so you, the chiropractor, can increase your income, your impact, and your enjoyment in practice too. Hey, in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about, in fact, we're going to be following on. We've been on a bit of a journey this last few weeks. 3 or 4 episodes ago, we talked about the different posts that are available to us on Instagram. I went through all of those. In maybe last week's episode, sometimes I'm recording these a little bit in advance and sometimes the order changes around, but I talked about how we go about writing great captions and the importance of creating engaging captions. Sometimes we overly focus on things like the videos and the images that we have there, and we forget about the role that the captions play. Well, today we're going to talk about how to put together the perfect bio. Your bio, whether it be regardless of the platform that you're coming to, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, is often one of the very first things that people see. And chiropractors don't put enough time and energy into them, and they don't understand that there is a structure for the way that the bio works. Let me tell you a story. In 1982, a woman by the name of Nora Hayden released a book. The book was a complete failure. Okay, it sold less than 5,000 copies. It was a dating book, and a dating book based in around astrology, based in around different things like that we could use to choose the right partner, how we should be communicating with them. The book was called Astrological Love. Now, this book disappeared, like many books do, that don't sell a lot of copies, until a number of years later. In fact, it was about almost 20 years later, in the mid-1990s, the publishing company that bought Nora's book was sold to a bigger publishing company. Now, one of the things that the staff was told to do when they took over this smaller publishing company was to look through past books and see if there might have been anything in value that might have been worth rebranding or republishing. Now, one of the staff was looking through and came across Nora's book and opened it up and started to have a little bit of a read through and absolutely loved what was inside it and said, look, the biggest problem with this book was not what was inside it, but was the cover of the book. The book was rebranded in 1998 and it went on to be translated into many different languages and it sold 2.5 million copies. Okay, there was only one thing that was changed, and that was the title of the book. The old book was called Astrological Love. The new book was called How to Satisfy a Woman Every Time and Have Her Beg for More. Now, the title is a little bit kind of sleazy and cheap. Maybe, perhaps it worked in 1990. Well, of course it worked because it sold 2.5 million copies. The real difference in these two titles here is the first one confused. If a book is called Astrological Love and you didn't go on and read the subtitle of the book there too, is it about falling in love with the stars? Is it about being guided by the stars to fall in love? Is it about a starly type sort of love? It's confusing. And Don Stevens, the author of Building a Story Brand, many other great books, he says when you confuse, you lose, okay? If we compare that with the title of the other book, which is How to Satisfy a Woman Every Time and Have Her Beg for More, it's very clear what that book is about. Now, if that's what you're after, you will buy this book. And clearly, 2.5 million people did. Now, this concept comes up against and rubs up against the wrong way many things that we're told in society, which is don't judge a book by its cover. We're told that. But then at the same time, we're also told things like you only get one chance to make a first impression. The bio that you have on your social media platforms is your opportunity to make a first impression, or certainly if not a first impression, a second impression. Think about the way that it goes. You might be scrolling through Instagram, for instance, and you find a post that you're interested in. And then maybe what we do next is we tap on that person's profile picture and we go back to their bio and we want to find out a little bit more about them. Now, this is an incredibly important moment here based on what I can see with the images at that stage and more importantly, what I can see with the words that are written. I'm going to decide to either engage with more of their content and follow them, or I'm going to move on. Now, I look at chiropractors' bios all the time, and mostly I'm confused by them. I'm confused by the language that they use. I'm confused about how they describe themselves, and it's missing some of the essential ingredients that will help you break through the noise. Okay, now I'm going to share with you a formula, first of all, that will help you create an engaging bio. But let me start by reading the one that we have for our chiropractic office in Lara. Okay, it says gentle chiro to help families in the Lara area feel and function better. Follow for tips and advice to help you live your best life. 3,000 plus patients helped. Okay, now it's very simple. There's nothing necessarily fancy about that, and it's very straightforward. Okay, let me read that again. Gentle chiro to help families in the Lara area feel and function better. Follow for tips and advice to help you live your best lives. 3,000 plus patients helped. Now, what I want to do in this episode here is I want to walk you through what I refer to as the bio formula. And then sometime after this episode, you can sit down and you can fill yours out. This won't take you long. I do it with people all the time in my classes, and it takes about 10 or 15 minutes. And it will help you get much better results with converting people to followers and ultimately converting them from followers into potential patients and then patients. So let's dive into the first part of the bio formula, and this is helping who. There are two really easy groups for you to possibly put in there, okay? The first is for you to insert the demographic, and that's exactly what we've done, a mix of these, and the other is the type of person. So we've talked about helping families in Lara, okay? So one of the things that we're looking for when we're choosing a health practitioner is local. So I'm going to suggest that you certainly pop that in there. So it might be, for instance, helping Port Melbourne. It could be, if there's a certain demographic or type of person that you help, it could be, for instance, helping busy mums. Or maybe what you want to do is link those two together. That's certainly what we've done. So helping busy Port Melbourne mums or helping families in the Lara area. Or alternatively, if you have a practice that looks after a very specific type of person, maybe it's athletes, maybe it's helping athletes. Don't be afraid. There's a temptation here for us to want to speak to everybody. And if you're still feeling that way, then again, earlier on this year, I put an episode together about the importance of niche, of us narrowing down and committing to talking to a specific type of person. So that's the first thing you need to do, okay, is who is it that you help? Maybe it's just the area to begin with, okay? Now, don't try and go too broad. Again, we talk about Lara and the surrounding areas. If there are, again, that's a kind of more of a country area, a rural area, so it is the surrounding areas there too. But in my Port Melbourne practice, it really was just helping Port Melbourne. Okay, so that's the first thing that we do. The second thing that you want to do is clarify, what do you help them with? Okay, so maybe it's helping busy mums kiss goodbye to headaches, neck pain and back pain. Maybe it's helping athletes perform better, recover quicker and feel better. Maybe it's helping families raise drug-free families. Maybe it's helping Port Melbourne raise drug-free families. What is it that you do? Okay. And again, keep your language very, very simple here. When you confuse, you lose. So language really simple. What do you help people? Now remember, as a part of this too, with Instagram, we have 255 characters. Similar on Facebook, you have a few more on there. TikTok, you have very few. Okay, I think it's 30 or 40 characters, but then again, over on YouTube, you have lots. And you have quite a bit that you can put also over on things like LinkedIn. But we can follow this same formula. This could be a formula that you could use if you wanted to introduce yourself, if you're doing a live presentation, whether it be live online or whether it be live in person speaking to a community group. So remember, part one is helping who. Part two is helping them do what. Okay, so at this stage, we might have something like helping busy mums kiss goodbye to headaches, neck and back pain, or helping athletes perform better, recover quicker, and feel better. The next thing we want to do is that we want to tell them what they will get if they will follow us. Okay, so follow for, that's the first two words that you use there. Now again, so it might be follow for tips and advice to live your best life. Maybe it's follow for stretches, tips and advice. Maybe it's follow for short videos. Maybe it's follow for community. Maybe it's follow for solutions. But why should they follow your account? What will they get here? Again, don't try and please everybody, but you're trying to please the sort of person that you want following your account. So we're up to part three now. We've decided who is it for, okay? What will they get? What problem do we solve? And what should they follow for? So we might have something like this. Helping busy mums kiss goodbye to headaches, neck and back pain. Follow for tips and advice to live your best life. Or maybe it's helping athletes perform better, recover quicker, and feel better. Follow for stretches, tips, and advice to help you go faster. Okay. Now, the fourth and final part through here would be based on the amount of space that you'd have. Okay. Here we could add in things like awards or experience. So this will help to build trust or authority, or maybe show social proof. So you could put in there the number of patients that you've served. This was something that I used to do a lot of my videos. Hey there, Angus here from Life Chiropractic in Port Melbourne. Over the last 20 years, we've helped more than 8,000 patients kiss goodbye to their back and neck pain. So again, by talking about 20 years there, it's experience. There's a level of authority that comes from that. And by talking about 8,000 plus patients, it adds some social proof in there, okay? Now, again, if you've had awards that you've won, so I was very fortunate and I'm very grateful for the fact that I was voted Chiropractor of the Year twice. So I could put that in there. So it could be helping athletes perform better, recover quicker, feel better, follow for stretches, tips and advice to help you go faster. Voted Chiropractor of the Year twice. That would be one version there. Or it could be helping busy mums kiss goodbye to headaches, neck and back pain, follow for tips and advice to live your best life. 8,000 plus patients helped. Okay, now both of those, 148 characters and 147 characters. So we could certainly use those in our Instagram profiles. Okay, so this is the bio formula. This is going to be a quick episode for you, but very, very practically applicable as well. So I'm going to review all of that again. And then for those of you that are perhaps just listening to this might be one worth watching on the videos because I'll have the text up on the screen. The bio formula is helping who. Now, when we're talking about the who, it's either an audience or a location. Helping them with what result? What results do people get with you? Okay, get specific about this. Follow for. What is the benefit they will get if they actually follow you? And then finally, what awards and or experience can you share there as well? Folks, get to work, clean up your bios. I'm one of the people that has to look at them as well. They horrify me a lot of the time because they're so confusing. They're using language that other chiropractors would understand, but not language that the general public would understand. Simplify it as well. If you've got any questions about this, you know what to do. Reach out to me and I'll be happy to help. As always, folks, thanks for all that you do. Keep saving lives. Your folks and your community desperately need you doing these things because if your bio is terrible, they won't follow you. They won't be able to watch your wonderful videos. They won't be inspired to come in and get chiropractic care, and their life won't change because of your magnificent adjustments. Okay? Get your bio formula sorted. Love you lots. See you back here real soon. Bye. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out my Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work with you to help you apply it, implement it, and systemize it. The Community Influencer Group Coaching Program is designed to help you increase your practice income, impact, and enjoyment. Join me over at anguspyke.com/join. That's anguspyke.com/join. I'd love to see you there.